Stugotz, we have a lot of shows around here that are getting very good, very strong followings. God Bless Football is one of them. God Bless Football has had great guests. If you want, we don't talk to a lot of guests around here. We leave it open for show mostly. But if you really want good football information, guests, humor in the style of some of the stuff we do, Stugotz and Billy Gill and Mikey A. and about 40 members of the Gronkowski Meatheads are
just Gordy.
Are making God Bless Football something that is popular. Pablo Torre finds out is also very popular and climbing because now people are getting competitive about we want to be better than them. The aforementioned, not mentioned by name because it doesn't have a name, Foot Girls, the pod on college football that Lucy and Jessica are doing, finally has some production help, but it's not the kind that either of them want. And we just played for the audience, but you have not seen this. So I want to show you, Mike Ryan, you've heard what this discussion has been, Stugotz. It's been uncomfortable, frankly, because Mike Ryan is in charge. Men are often in charge in sports, and it can be troublesome for women to try and get a voice around the men.
As it should be.
Around the men. But finally, the production staff got together, and I have not seen how Jessica and Lucy reacted to finally getting some Meadowlark funding that gets them some production help.
I'm an ally. I'm very proud of our track record. In fact, on this edition of Foot Girls that many in our audience just listened to and watched.
You're calling this.
You'll note. Well, I mean, for now, yeah, we wanted to punch it up and give it some branding because we want more eyes seeing this wonderful show. There's a studio of 3 very talented women talking about college football. Not many people are doing that, and I'm very proud of our track record there. There's Charlotte Wilder, there's Jess, there's Lucy. This is a really big moment for us, and I just wanted to celebrate them.
You say you want to punch it up. You really want to kick it up because it's feet.
Well,
right?
You know how it went, and I think they really liked it, and I'm proud of the production work that our team came back with, and whether they decide to keep it as Foot Girls, that's up to them. But it was nameless, right? Yeah. I kept pitching a name for the show, and 2 months went by, no name for the show. So you can lead a horse to water, but then my big man brain has to step in. So this is how it went. I know there's been a lot of debate and discourse about Foot Girls, but you guys know how much I value you guys' individual talents, and your knowledge of college football is second to none. I just think that we need to have some branding so we can get people to search out college football, girls, all that stuff, and have a huge, huge show for you guys going forward. And I'm really happy with what we came out with.
That's big.
I like it.
Oh my God. Why is there a foot on my microphone?
Branding. That's your brand new foot mic. Those, be very careful. Each one of those costs $700,000.
I'm so sorry. I don't have one.
If you're not watching this on YouTube, which you always should be, that was a video compilation of feet to a song that Mike recorded.
Did you like the song?
Royalty-free feet videos.
We have a brand new fancy background for you guys here, and so I'm really happy that you guys gave me the chance to punch this segment up. I'm proud of the art that we made. It's a catchy little ditty, I think. And so, thank you for not just rebuffing me and telling me to go shove it, and really giving this an honest try. Happy for the official launch of Foot Girls.
They are mortified.
They seem into it, I thought.
No, for the audio audience only. If you're not watching or listening on YouTube.
Is that what you got from Lucy there, Chris?
They are not into it all. It seems like Jeremy is disgusted with you in general today, Mike, for a variety and assortment of things, but this also disgusted him a bit.
Yeah, I think we could be doing some different SEO maybe to help them. But, look, I'm not the executive, so I'll defer to Mike on all things Meadowlark Media company related, just not the Miami Heat.
Ask yourself 2 questions. Did they have a name before? No.
Mm-hmm.
Is what I made a bop?
That's fair.
Putting his best foot forward.
Those are the only questions, huh?
That was good.
I believe, I don't think I'm saying anything controversial when I say this. I believe that those foot microphones, whether you object to the idea or not, are the best thing Meadowlark Media has made to date. They cost a lot.
The shot of Charlotte where you saw the side version of it was great.
I want to remind the people, Stugotz, because we are opening the merch store in time for the holidays. It was a tough negotiation. Stugotz won 80-20 his way.
Thank you.
LebatardAF.com is where you go, LebatardAF.com. And some of the discounts that are in play, 10% if you just sign up. 15% off for anyone with the code NEWSUI. And LeBatard 15, the number 15, gets you 15% off if you're one of our tens of thousands of Substack subscribers. I wanted to talk about a couple of different things. Again, LebatardAF.com. I'm always moved, Stugotz, when somebody in public is wearing their allegiance to us, and then the story behind when they run into other people who are wearing that stuff at sporting events, that they have just an immediate connection point. And I'm wildly flattered and grateful for a variety of things that our audience does. But that is a cool, moving connection place for people who might not connect otherwise. So I'm glad that this store is up. David Sampson, by the way, got to say thank you to him because he has been working tirelessly behind the scenes to try and get that thing up. And hopefully it's a lot better than whatever it is we were doing before, because we don't know what we're doing when it comes to some business stuff, because we're not business people around here and we're just trying to figure it out.
Greg Cody is trying to remind people that his store is also open. So he keeps tweeting it out.
Yes, that's totally unsurprising. He likes to draft off of the wake.
Shopped out the Greg Cody Show.
And so if you want to do that, you can do it. LebatardAF.com is where you go. But I wanted to get to, Stugotz, the way that the Thursday night game next week on Amazon is being advertised, because we finally got a good football game yesterday. I was surprised to see a good football game on Thursday night. I feel like it's all Carolina and Titans and just crud.
The teams last night had a full week off, though. Big difference. They played on Thanksgiving, so they had a full week to prepare.
That helps. The health of the bodies help, but also just seeing that amount of offense and the precision of the offenses. Like, you can have your quibbles with whatever defense is, but scoring and offense is down throughout the league, and that's the kind of game I want to watch more often, a game with stakes. Dallas has been crushing everybody at home. They're behind, and they're able to rally so that they get off of them. The thing that happens every time the Cowboys lose, which is we start questioning all the things about the Cowboys. Man, we're going on about 2 or 3 generations or 3 decades since the Cowboys since you trusted that the Cowboys would win meaningful football games.
Yeah, before Tony Romo, I think.
That's a long-ass time, though, for a team. Hell, it was against Seattle, Stugotz, that all of this started, because Romo, the holder, dropped a extra point type of hold, and they lost a playoff game to Seattle, and it's where the mistrust of Romo started, and Romo's the best of what they've had there.
I know, but Dan, here's the problem for the Cowboys. Their wins on this recent streak It's been against the Giants. It's been against Carolina, the Commanders, Seattle last night, the LA Rams. They lose to San Francisco. They lose to Philadelphia.
Okay.
And in the case of San Francisco, not even close.
This is a frustrating thing to me, to hold against a team the thing that the Lions weren't able to do the last time they played. They just lost to a bad team at home, and there are a lot of bad teams in the league. If you beat them all, you will have a good record, and you will also have a legion of people questioning you. Beat a good team, but the schedule doesn't have a lot of good teams left, Stugotz. The Browns are one of them. They're on their fourth quarterback.
Right. Well, but as Tony pointed out, they have the Eagles next week, then Buffalo, then the Dolphins, then the Lions. So we'll see.
Stugotz,
We'll see what's what.
I saw them get dragged by San Francisco, and I'm like, same old Cowboys. Like, they went to San Francisco and didn't have a chance. It wasn't close. I understand why people question them. You could use the last 30 years, or you could use the schedule. I'm just telling you, when you keep beating the bad teams and people say, well, you're not beating good teams, you're complaining about the schedule. You're not actually doing an assessment of the team. You're doing an assessment of the schedule. Because how many times do you have to see the Lions lose to a team like the Packers, where you're like, how'd that happen? When I know the Lions are good. When you know the Lions are good.
But the Lions have beaten some good teams, I think. I mean, in the case of Dallas, they just haven't this year. I'm not saying they're not going to, but this year they just haven't.
There just aren't as many good teams as you think they are. I think
you're right.
I think one of the things that's rare about here is that whatever it is that Jason Kelce is saying when he says, I'm surprised we're the only one-loss team, because what I see at the top of our sport is a whole lot of evenly matched teams that can lose or win on any Sunday. I think we're all in agreement on who the 5, 6 teams are. There are about 9 teams that you would be willing to say are a Super Bowl contender, and that's 2/3 of the league. That's not any good.
Yeah, but not to nuke your argument, that 6 is higher than it's been in previous years.
It's a good 6.
It is a good 6.
This is good parity, I think.
I believe we know.
Competitive season.
I think it's rare that we know this clearly who the good teams are, right? I think everyone listening to this would say Baltimore and Philadelphia and
the Dolphins. Yeah.
And all we're talking about there is a first tier and a second tier. Like that's all we're doing. And there's only one team right now on the first tier. It's Philadelphia because of their record. And a lot of us believe San Francisco should be up there too, because we see how they manhandle people. But, Stugotz, Baltimore should be there too. And because you haven't seen Lamar Jackson do it in the playoffs, you do to him what you do to Goff and Purdy and everyone else who hasn't done it in the playoffs.
Someone new might do it in the playoffs this year. I am very excited about that.
Stugotz just scurried to the internet to look up the Lions schedule, saw that the Lions beat the Chiefs in week 1, and yes, a sigh of relief, because there's nothing else good on that schedule. And when he looks at what happened when they went to Baltimore, he gets scared.
You say things when you do this, right? And you do it for 20 years, and you say the Lions have beaten some good teams, but you're not certain. I wasn't certain when I said it. And I spent the break praying that I would find one good team the Lions have beaten on their schedule, and all it takes is the Chiefs. I got it. They beat Mahomes.
Well, you say that you do that. I would say that most people talking in live broadcast forums don't wing it quite that way, where they're just making it up and then waiting for other people to look it up. And when they're wrong, they're already driving home, not caring at all about it.
You left out the praying.
I would say that there's not a lot of people doing the job generally that way.
Well, thank you.
I've got to get to a couple of things I've been promising. We went off of Max before I got the punchline off on Max about what happened in the commentary about us joining Max. So I will simply read this to you, what I saw in the comments after the announcement, an exciting announcement for our show, that a version of the Dan Le Batard Show with Stugotz, and this is just starting, this relationship, is on Max. I've got a GIF of a Golden Girl saying this is boring. I've got you can keep it, we do not want it. I've got LaBouffe Jones saying we will not be watching. Why are you doing this to us? I don't know a single person who listens to these guys. Thanks for the warning. Not necessary. He is so over. Nobody asked for this. With Bomani Jones, I'm sure. How much is woke race baiting libtard paying you to promote this? No one cares. Too bad. for HBO that he won't be bringing an audience with him. And Le Batard is a pure piece of I've gotten a lot of that this week.
Was there any good stuff?
No, not a single one.
Yeah, I was just. You're familiar with the Matt Taibbi like Twitter papers. It's very clearly like going in the opposite direction of whatever they accused. If you search like Gavin Newsom last night, you wouldn't get a single pro Gavin Newsom tweet. In your search, it's just all negative commentary. Elon Musk is very clearly trying to weaponize X as a weapon for the right. So anytime I get those criticism, I see whether or not they follow me, and I've deduced more than often they're not a real person, and if they are a real person, they don't actually follow the show. It's just criticism because they are feeding what this conservative monster's become.
Weaponize X sounds like an incredible movie.
Well, it sounds like it's playing safety for the Eagles.
That is a good name for a movie. Put it on the
Well,
poll.
it comes from the comic books.
Put it on the poll. Weaponize X. Does it sound like a
Don't.
great...
It just makes them sound old. Just grab it.
You got the old POS, huh?
Yes, I got a lot of it. I got a lot of truly a pure piece of.
Pure. Wow.
I spent a lot of a lot of this week being called different kinds of excrement exactly the same way. It really was just a matter. It really was whether it was the pure stuff, whether I'm 100% undiluted piece, or whether I was just a piece. But it was really a matter of degrees on how much of a piece of I was.
You just mentioned putting something on the poll, and we're over here at the end of our week. And let's do a poll recap, Chris Cody. I always love when you read on the air. It's brought to you by Dollar Shave Club. Epic razors, epically affordable. Find them in stores or online.
All right, let me just type my password into my computer.
He was absolutely on his phone,
What's
just
to
texting
sleep on
about
him,
something else.
I was handling some Meadowlark business,
Yeah.
so it's fine.
Great Cody
I'm
Show
ready
business.
now.
Feel free to do that on hours when we're not in front of microphones.
I feel like that was seamless. Do you want your ex talking to the Hollywood Reporter? 91% say no.
Weaponize X.
Are old men hopping into the DMs of the Golden Bachelor cast members? 84% say yes. This is wild, this one. Can you tell two women that they are the only one? 50-50 split.
Never happened before. Yeah.
Is Zoolander a top 5 Ben Stiller movie? 68% say yes. Does Lucy Rodin sneeze like a cat? 96% say yes. Oh, this is big. Whose side are you on, Elon or Iger? 64%. What do you think, Stugotz? Where do you think they went?
Iger.
No.
Yep, 64% Iger.
I'm surprised by that.
Would you eat fried dinosaur? 71% say yes. That's weird.
Do I have other options? I mean,
It would taste like chicken.
It's the fried part, man. People love fried food. Because here we go. Would you eat an iguana? 65% say no.
Rib meat, not bad.
Oh, this is a split
I've
one
heard-
here.
Chicken of the trees.
Is or else still a legitimate threat in 2023? 51% say yes, it is. Barely. Is Julius Randle one of the greatest New York Knicks to ever play the game?
He is. He
No
is.
doubt, yes.
It's not a celebration of Randall.
73% say no.
Yeah, I don't care. They're wrong.
Can you trust a Norv? 90% say no.
yeah.
You can't trust an Eberflus. You just can't.
Does Greg Popovich think that his hugs are more valuable than your hugs? 95% say yes.
Thank you.
Should SI change their name to AI? 93% say yes.
We're going to be talking about that and other subjects here momentarily with Katie Nolan and Pablo Torre as part of Pablo Torre Finds Out. He's doing a nice job with that. He really is. It's groundbreaking.
He's
up-
very curious. I mean,
he's up for, in the voting for the big lead, he's up for the best, but not newcomer podcast, just the best podcast in sports, because what he is doing there is excellent. And more to the point, it's super different, like super different. There are a lot of people in this space. What are you mouthing? mouthing, Stugotz. You're shaking your head.
Jeremy was asking me if God Bless Football is on there, and I said I have no idea. That's all. We were having an off-air conversation for some reason while you were speaking.
I just wonder. I'm glad that Chris is on his phone while I'm speaking, and that Jeremy and Stugotz are having conversations.
Hold on a second. That wasn't a conversation. I was trying to feed him a line, asking the question. It was supposed to be funny. It wasn't a conversation. Come on.
Go sit in the penalty box.
I should join him.
Don't throw me under the bus.
See ya.
Just get out of here, Jeremy.
Say why I'm right about Jaime
You
Jaquez.
made it worse. You made it worse, Jeremy. Just stay in the character. Don't say you were feeding him a line. You made it worse.
I forgot one poll that relates to me. Do you know your eyes are open in a dark room? 85% say yes.
Glad you got it in.
Stugotz, I've been trying to get to this all show. Thursday night, we have the Steelers and the Patriots in another truly terrible Thursday night game that is so hard to promote, Stugotz.
Used to be a classic.
That would have been such a great game 15 years ago.
Oh, God.
I mean, actually,
Ben and Brady.
5 years
now
ago.
it's ass.
5 years ago. It is ass. That game is ass.
This is basically one of maybe 3 years this century where this is not a great game.
Correct.
That is correct. And I want to show you how they advertised the game on Prime last night because I have not seen this before. It's Bill Belichick and the 2-7 Patriots against
2-9. Don't sell them
2-9.
short.
Excuse me. The 2-9 Patriots against the 7-4 Steelers of T.J. Watt. Somehow the best Watt at sacking quarterbacks in the Watt family.
Yep.
I've never seen a team not have a player that could go up there, so they have to put the coach up there in the graphic opposite T.J. Watt. That's the first time I've ever seen that.
The production sought to embarrass the New England Patriots there.
By putting him there?
There's a way around this.
Yeah,
It's-
Devontae Parker,
No,
What do
it's,
you mean?
I don't, there's legitimately no player that you could put up
Mike Gesicki.
for
Who
the
is their best player?
Stevenson?
Is he?
if you look at PFF rankings. They got a good rookie in the secondary. His name escapes me right now.
Christian
but-
Gonzalez.
Yeah,
a wild name.
Sorry.
Oh.
How can that one be the one
I
that
don't know why it
escapes
escaped
you?
him. Crazy.
How can that one? Con la Z.
Con la zeta, papi.
But what you do here to not embarrass the Patriots is you just throw up Tomlin, and you're good. Because it's two of the best coaches of this century.
Right.
Tomlin, Belichick.
Yes.
But no.
Nobody would have
But
noticed.
no, they have a player.
Nobody would have noticed if that had happened. I wanted to ask you guys when you guys leave games to go to the restroom or concessions. At what time? What is in a football game?
Yeah, what sport's important here?
In football, well, the reason I'm bringing it up is I'm asking you this question because I believe that the giant play on Prime made by Javon Holland that turned a Hail Mary into a 99-yard return for a touchdown, I'm of the belief that there were a ton of people in the bathroom and at concessions because Jets got the ball. There are 2 seconds left in the half. I want to get to no lines. I want to get do you think I have this right or wrong? Because I assume that's that people right before the half, even though you don't want to miss anything, you don't want to stand in a line either. And if you go 2 minutes early, everyone else who wants to watch the game isn't, in the way of your hot dog.
So I think if you go anywhere near halftime, like 2-minute warning on in to halftime, you're going to be stuck in lines. I do. That's why I always go. If I go to a game and I haven't been to one in a while, I try to sneak it in first quarter. No one's there. Nobody is there.
I am with Stugotz in general. I like a good mid-quarter pee, but I do agree with Dan. I think a lot of people do leave, especially with 2 seconds. If it's a minute left, you still have time for a drive. Seconds left and only a kickoff with how often kickoffs are just touchbacks. I think a lot of people probably left
And
for
it's
that.
Tim Boyle. So I'm like, you know what? I'll take my chances. He was going to throw a Hail Mary. It's going to go incomplete. Let's keep it moving.
Are you guys not amazed by that Tim Boyle stat that for 3 years in college football, for 3 years, the part that I'm asking you, yes, Tony, I know he's terrible, but my point is, how is that person in the pros starting a football game this
Aaron
week?
Rodgers.
Apparently, he had a great I heard them talk about this on the broadcast. He was bad in college, and he just had a great pro day, and he got invited
So
to
did Zach
camps.
Wilson.
Well, Zach Wilson put a lot of good tape out there.
Did he put a lot of good tape out there, or did he throw one throw during a pro day and everybody's like, that's our guy?
Kid was pretty electric at BYU.
I mean, but Boyle was a backup to Aaron Rodgers in Green Bay, and now he's a backup to Aaron with the Jets. Aaron wanted him to play a game.
That's the point. It takes one offensive coordinator to like you, and obviously Hackett likes him.
Hack.
Understood. The stat I gave, though, is over a 3-year period, there were 251 quarterbacks who threw 200 passes, and he was the worst of them. And there are a lot of guys between him and whoever those other 250 people are. There's at the top of the 250, 5 pros, 5 people who are in the NFL, to 10 max.
But sometimes the guys that put up the best numbers in college stink.
But this is the worst.
But it's just showing us that we don't know anything.
Look, this is what
we should have known with him.
This is what I thought I knew before Tim Boyle. Before Tim Boyle existed, if you told me, take any 3-year period, the worst quarterback, will he make it to the pros? No. No is the answer.
We are inching ever so closely to the most wonderful time of the year. Bowl season. I love bowl season. And yes, it's been diluted by players jumping to the draft and protecting their bodies, or players deciding they're going to get an early start on the portal and just forego the postseason treasure that is a bowl game. However, bowl games still matter. Mario Cristobal gave voice to this in a press conference earlier this week. Postseason awards matter. And a lot was made out of bowl games in the 90s about the commercialization of these bowl games. Remember, these bowl games had prestige. They didn't have corporate sponsors attached to the name. The Peach Bowl. It was the Peach Bowl. It wasn't the Chick-fil-A Peach Bowl or the Chick-fil-A Bowl. It was the Peach Bowl.
Tostitos Fiesta Bowl was pretty memorable.
But it was just the Fiesta Bowl.
Before that, it was just the Fiesta Bowl.
And people miss that. However, I like where we're at right now.
The Tostitos, by the way, when it morphed, like whatever objections I have to commercialization and the brazen greed in sports, when I got to Arizona and they would just give the media unending Tostitos, like I was like, okay,
yes,
bowl sponsorship, sell me out, I'm sold out. What are you making faces about, Jeremy?
No, that sounds incredible. That is perfect to be able to walk in as the media and just get an unlimited amount of Tostitos.
They bought the media with wonderful salty chips.
Right, but that was all there was to these things until these companies decided, okay, we hear people aren't fans of this, but let's just lean all the way in on this. And now we're here in 2023, and the best bowl games are the ones that feel the most commercial. Outside of the granddaddy of them all, which actually doesn't have the sponsor on the top of the name. It's a Rose Bowl game presented by a corporate sponsor here. Everybody else has a corporate sponsor.
Rose Bowl is still holding on to where the granddaddy of them all. Granddaddy will not allow anybody to put their corporate name over granddaddy.
Yeah, and depending on who's the CFP, I would argue that the Rose Bowl still to this day matters in an old-timey way. We'll see what happens next year when there is no more Pac-12. But the tradition-rich Rose Bowl is still a thing.
It's one of the playoff games this year. So it's really, I've gone to the Rose Bowl, like when my team's playing. That's an unreal environment. So yeah, that will always last, even without the Pac-12.
But I would argue right now, the bowl game with the second most prestige is the Duke's Mayo Bowl.
No.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Already?
Yeah. Because
they bought their way in the game with Mayo just by dumping it on announcers for a couple of years, 3 years, and they've already escalated to we're the bowl who does it a little differently. We'll slather it in Mayo.
Yes. Yeah, Mike Golick Jr. became
They can thank Gojo for that.
A megastar when he started dunking Oreo cookies into mayo. And then part of the tradition-rich Mayo Bowl prestige really blew up when they decided to, instead of dumping Gatorade on a winning coach, dump mayo on a winning coach. Now, we've seen this before with the famous Idaho Potato Bowl, where the Gatorade container would be filled with French fries, something that Dan does every weekend. Not a lot of people know that.
Don't limit me.
The occasional Wednesday, too.
And Monday morning for breakfast.
It's also his salad crouton.
Yeah. But the Mayos really kind of overlap that, even though they totally swagger jacked the Idaho Potato Bowl. The mayo is just far more satisfying.
It's grosser. It's more disgusting. In fact, you can't think of a lot of edible things more disgusting than that to slather on yourself.
So what
right?
food item will come for mayo stuff?
Well, I'm glad you asked, because Pop-Tarts.
I didn't believe there was an answer to that question.
Pop-Tarts have a bowl game, and Lucy, can you inform the audience of the latest development with regards to the Pop-Tart Bowl?
So the PopTart Bowl, I believe, was originally the Cheez-Its Bowl, and they dumped Cheez-Its, and they had a giant Cheez-It mascot, Sir Cheese. It didn't get the level of press at the Mayo Bowl, so they have course corrected. They are now the Pop-Tarts Bowl, and if you win, you can take a bite out of the edible mascot.
And you guys are alleging that basically what we have done to soil the legacy and history of college football's bowl games that used to be just the Peach Bowl, the Orange Bowl, the Cotton Bowl, no corporate sponsors. You say that if your food item is good, you could skyrocket right to the top of being the most prestigious bowl other than the Granddaddy.
You should have cheered when I told you that information. I don't understand what this is about.
Dan, there's going to be a dancing mascot, okay? This is bowl games are in a golden era right now if you give yourself over to free market capitalism and commercialism, because you had the Jimmy Kimmel mascot of the Jimmy Kimmel Bowl. This year, the LA Bowl is brought to you by Gronk.
I thought that was weird. I didn't understand. They did the press conference and Gronk's whole thing. Basically, it's the LA Bowl brought to you. Gronk's not really a marketer the way that Charisma would market. So it's like, we're going to get lit, and that's the slogan that will skyrocket to the top.
An interesting note. Now the Gronk Bowl is taking note from the PopTart Bowl. You can bite Gronk after you win the game as well. But, Dan, there's going to be a dancing Pop-Tart. And at the end of the game, there's an ACC tie-in. Can you imagine Dave Doran in a celebratory fashion taking a bite out of a Pop-Tart mascot?
Where's this bowl going to be?
Orlando.
I'll bite this tart. Send me.
But
I mean, I don't know if I'm allowed to, but I'll bite it. If it walks by me, I'm taking a bite.
Now, they haven't clarified who can eat the Pop-Tart, but I'm hoping for a Walking Dead scenario in which a team just ravages a Pop-Tart and are all
Make
taking
it like
bites
Thanksgiving, where they're all running around as gluttons. You're saying the team that wins just devours the Pop-Tart. Like,
is there going to be a human in this Pop-Tart?
Yeah, well, I
There has
would
to be.
I would assume it's
wouldn't be
a mascot.
It was just a large Pop-Tart. It wouldn't be the mascot.
That's kind of what I'm thinking. Is I feel like there's probably going to be a version of the Pop-Tart that's dancing around as a mascot in a costume.
False advertising.
And then there's going to be a separate giant Pop-Tart for everyone to eat.
I think
I'm
mascot.
picturing like chasing a guy running away from me because I want to bite him.
The mascot, I think the costume is edible.
that is an edible. The whole thing is
not inedible, Stugotz.
It's
I know
be-
he's thinking that someone.
It's being sold as this is an edible mascot. There must be, if it's an edible mascot, at some point during the game, people will be taking bites out of the mascot. What's the point of having an edible mascot unless someone's going to eat parts of the mascot?
Precisely, Dan. And it's not so much the action, though that in itself is comical. Seeing a generic football coach take a bite out
Is
of a
it
Pop-Tart.
big? How big is the Pop-Tart?
It's a mascot size.
But how big?
You see any small mascots?
But how big? Is it a giant Pop-Tart? Is it a
we have
medium size?
we have an animated graphic. It doesn't necessarily. If you look at the scale with a football, if that's a real football,
Those legs are not real. Those are not human legs. I don't know what you mean if that's a real football. Those are clearly not human legs. Those are not human arms.
Maybe it's an AI Pop-Tart.
But it's not an AI human. It's an AI Pop-Tart. It's an AI Pop-Tart with cartoon skinny legs.
Why the attack? Why are you trying to poke holes in this? They've said it's an edible mascot. Why can't does the Pop-Tart Bowl not have enough credibility with you that you're not going to take them at their word?
They can't show us the mascot ahead of time because we don't know what this bowl matchup is. It could suck. We need a reason to tune in.
Right.
To see the edible mascot.
And the hope is you have a coach that is funny eating a Pop-Tart because the Shane Beamer had a moment where they accidentally clocked him in the head with a canister of mayo. And there was an interim head coach wearing an oversized hat, which was cheating.
The mayo, I saw that. You just played that. The mayo, the oversized hat to dump mayo on your head, that's cheating.
That's copping out.
That's worse than Harbaugh.
These are both ACC tie-ins, and I'm really sincerely hoping that Mario Cristobal, provided he wins, adds an opportunity to take a bite out of a live mascot.
I've done some digging here. Dubbed the first of its kind, the Pop-Tarts Bowl mascot will interact with the crowd during the game, but by the time the final whistle blows, the toaster pastry character will, quote, transform into a snack for victorious team to feast on.
I've got a quote
Feels
from
like it's going to be a mascot, and then they're just going to switch it out for a large Pop-Tart at the end.
The VP of Marketing for Pop-Tarts, Sarah Renicky. Here's a quote from her. During the grand entrance and for the entirety of the game, there will be a traditional mascot costume from fabric and other non-edible materials that a person will wear.
You can't get the food dirty.
The edible mascot will only be revealed after the game ends. Have no fear. Humans will be harmed in the enjoyment of the Pop-Tarts edible mascot. Why not?
You already took the Outback Bowl from us. Don't take this too.
Bring back Cheez-It.
He needs to be put in a toaster, alive. Yeah. Or she. It's 2023.
Bring back Cheez-It.
Thank you.
I'm not sure what gender the Pop-Tart is.
Poor Cheez-Its Bowl gone. I wanted a world where the PopTart Bowl and the Cheez-Its Bowl were here.
The Cheez-Its Bowl used to have certain players that would stay in like a Cheez-It room. And
See?
I'll show you a picture. You'd love it.
I mean, technically, any mascot is edible.
Whoa, that got dark.
Bevo.
I mean, well, but not. He's
I
doing
mean,
humans.
Colorado
yes.
Buffalo.
I mean, technically.
I mean, well, but what? I don't.
We're getting all excited about edible mascots?
Yeah, but here, wait a minute. You've descended into cannibalism, and we didn't even get to enjoy this for 10 minutes.
If you win the Fenway Bowl, you get to eat Jacoby Ellsbury.
Yeah.
We didn't get 10 minutes into celebrating the edible mascot and the joys of the edible mascot before it was revealed to be a fraud, and then Jeremy immediately took it to technically all mascots are edible, which is
Only if Army Hammer's your head coach.
they're cannibalism jokes. I can't work with cannibalism jokes. We started at Pop-Tarts. Pop-Tarts are delicious. Human beings, to my knowledge, are not delicious.
What's your favorite? S'mores. I said it. I love the s'mores.
Brown cinnamon sugar
Yeah,
for sure.
The brown cinnamon sugar. That's the top one. They make Pop-Tart little puffs now. Have you tried those?
Am I an
They're-
for just liking the...
Yes.
I got a hot take.
Am I for just liking the strawberry Pop-Tarts?
Oh, no, that's
No,
not
not at
that's
all.
a
That's a
good
really
one.
good one.
You don't have to
Try the
toast
puff.
your Pop-Tart, though. That's my hot take.
You eat brown cinnamon
Room
sugar.
temp.
Wait, what? No toasting?
Same.
I mean, toasting is fine. Toasting them is fine,
But
but
it becomes like a fig Newton if
like
you
a
don't
nice
toast
No.
it.
it's like a
No.
little cookie with a
No.
little filling in it. It's
Gotta
nice.
Toast it.
No,
Maybe
I
put the roof of
completely
your mouth
disagree.
on
No,
it.
you don't.
I'm with
Misjudge it.
I'm
Have a
room
bad
temp with
toaster.
Chris over here.
Room temp.
If for me, my favorite version of a Pop-Tart, get it out get it out of a vending machine
Oh.
and it's like a little soft
Oh, you monster.
and you can just kind of you don't even get a snap with it. It's kind of a soft, chewy.
I wanted to be with you on this, but that's crazy.
No, it's not. It's not crazy. It's delicious. It's edible and it's wonderful.
Well, you like cannibalism, so all things are edible.
I don't like cannibalism.
Put it on the poll, please, Juju. Is Jeremy pro-cannibalism? And also put on the poll your Pop-Tart toasted or room temperature. This is an important
I
question.
think you're going to be surprised by the numbers here, Dano.
It's got to be toasted.
I
No.
I
completely
think it'll
disagree
be
with
close
you.
to split. I'm not saying you won't win, but it'll be close.
In fact, I'm not sure since the first time I toasted a Pop-Tart that I've toasted a Pop-Tart since.
You're talking.
Would you like to hear Complicated Legacy Joe Zagacki reading some text from Army Hammer?
Sure.
Please.
Yeah. This is a weird kink that some people might have on Reddit. Helplessly horny. And I just need to tell you, it's been so long since last time. I've been more, and I'm so hard. I'm screaming. My legs are going to be... I don't know what that one is. Yeah. I'm dying to send you pics of blood. I just want to eat you already.
That was Army Hammer's DMs.
Would you let me take a bite of you? I'm serious. I want to eat you.
Nailed it.
Took a dark turn.
I am 100% accountable.
He started with Pop-Tarts.